Welcome back to my Commonplace Book. I'm doing a journal with me video today and I'll be doing 2 entries in my Commonplace Book. Initially, I was going to do a fountain pen collection tour video this week, but I didn't make time to record it, and I was also waiting on a new pen that I purchased, and you'll get a sneak peek of it in the second journal entry. So I'll make the fountain pen collection video for my next video. And I'm not sure if you like fountain pens or if you want to see all about fountain pens, but you're about to see a lot of fountain pens in that video. But back to the journaling portion of this video. So on the left page, you'll see that entry there. I made that after my last video. I had quoted a poem from Fernando Pessoa, and I loved it so much that I wanted to put it in my Commonplace Book. So that was an entry using the quote that I had read in my last video. The quote from this entry that I'm doing on the right side, though, this is from Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. I have been in kind of a creative rut, or at least a temporary one. This happens every month, where I just have very low creativity, very low drive, very little ideas, and it always passes, but I know it's tied to my cycle and, hormones and all that fun stuff. So I was looking for a creative pick-me-up, and this book is one that I often pick up when I need a reminder of why I create and I need that little spark of creativity. I read the book years ago, yet I still return to it because it's that good, and it's about writing and poetry, advice specifically on that, but I feel like the advice can be applied to so many different pursuits and creative endeavors. It could be applied to many aspects of your life. So if you feel like you're in a creative rut, this is one book that I recommend you read. The short summary of it is that a young, unestablished poet is writing letters to a well-known poet, Rainer Maria Rilke, asking for advice on writing and how to get his work out there, basically, and asking if his work is any good. So the quote that I wrote down here is one of Rilke's responses to the young poet after the poet asked whether his work was good enough. So this is the quote. "You are looking outward, and now you must avoid that at all costs. No one can advise and help you. No one. There is only one thing to do. Go into yourself. Ask yourself why you pursue this thing you call writing. Look and see if its roots draw from the deepest place in your heart. Ask yourself if you would die if you were forbidden to write. Above all, ask yourself in the stillest hour of the night, must I do this? Delve within for the deepest answer. And if you respond to this question with a strong and simple yes, then build your life according to this necessity. Your life, in its most ordinary details, should bear witness to this imperative." End quote. That quote was the kick in the butt that I needed. I mean, must I do this? Must I create? And the answer for me is yes, I have to. It's this obsessive compulsion to create, and I don't know how to explain it other than that. If I wasn't allowed to create, if I were forbidden to do it, I think I would die. Maybe not physically, but in my soul, I would be dead empty. If I couldn't create, I would have no purpose, no guiding light, no thing to look forward to. For me, creation and being creative, that's everything for me. And it's not even in a specific form. For a long time for me, it showed up as drawing and creating art. But in recent times, it's shown up in journaling, in writing. That call to creativity, no matter its form, has been so strong in me my whole life. Like, the meme, there were definitely signs of me being a creative. I would sell SpongeBob drawings on the playground. I had like a catalog of drawings to offer, and people would pick their favorite, pay me a quarter, and I would draw that for them. And I had a backlog. I had so many kids pay me a quarter for a SpongeBob drawing. Don't sue me, Nickelodeon. That was a long time ago. And in retrospect, a quarter was way too low. And in elementary school, my school had a really cool program where you can make your own book. You would draw the pages and you would write your own story, and they would make it into a hardcover book. And that was my favorite thing I ever did, was make that book. I was so proud of it. I drew it myself. I wrote the whole story, and the story was called The Enchanted Forest. I also spent many hours of my childhood on kid pics, if any of you remember that. And as a teenager, I wrote poetry as a way to vent my feelings and to cope with life, basically. I wrote hundreds and hundreds of poems, really bad poems. I was heavily into Emily Dickinson at the time, and so my poems had way too much rhyming going on. I wanted to rhyme everything like Emily did, and I also had to have the exact same amount of syllables in certain lines. It was usually every other line had to share the same syllable count. I was so specific and structured and ordered, and my poems were very bad. But anyway, all that to say, I've always felt the creative call, and so this quote was a great reminder of that. Must I do this? That's a great question to ask yourself about any pursuit in your life. Must I do this? And if you must, then you have to reorganize your life and your day to achieve this. So I reorganized my headspace basically and got to doing this journal entry. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about the journal entry for a second. So, that sticker that I made, the big collage one, initially I was going to just plop a single painting on the page, and it's basically a rectangle, and call it a day. But I told myself, you know what, let's be more creative. How can I push this artwork? How can I make it more visually intriguing? So instead of having a piece of artwork, a rectangle on the page, boring, 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 I broke my structure here. I placed the artwork in this shape that I made, and I tilted that last rectangle to draw some visual interest to that, as if that rectangle is falling off the rest of them, and I layered that flower behind. And I also do something different with this page as well. On my quest to not have a boring rectangle, the sticker that I ended up making, I did another clipping mask. So instead of having a normal rectangle or square artwork, I cut it up into smaller squares, smaller rectangles, and played with negative space. And in this entry, I struggle with my layout a lot more. I'm not sure where to place the stickers. I know which ones I want, and so I'm trying to find a way to make them work visually on the page. So you'll see me put stickers on the page, remove them, move them back and forth. I'm very indecisive on this one. And I actually think it's this negative shape here, the square, that is tripping me up. I'm not sure how to balance that on the page to where it doesn't feel so out of place. And then to top it off, I want to do this drop cap, but I have to do the drop cap near the paragraph since that's how drop caps function. And the reason why I chose this artwork was that it's a very simple, straightforward painting. And the subject of this entry is art appreciation, and how to read and understand art and the concepts that the painter is trying to convey. And the source of this entry is the London School of Economics and Political Science. It's a blog post, and the author is C.T. Wen. The title of the blog post is Art is a Game, and I thought the author made some really interesting points about how you should be viewing art, and so I wanted to remember those quotes. I'll read you the section that I wrote down. It could very well be that some aesthetic judgments are objective, but the reason we pursue those right answers are different with art appreciation than with many other objective domains. In science, we care about actually getting the right answers, but with art appreciation, we care most about engaging in the activity of trying to get it right, about going through the whole process of looking and searching and imagining and interpreting. This is why we don't defer to experts. Correct judgments are the goal, but not the purpose of art appreciation. The value of art appreciation lies in the activity of trying to get correct judgments, rather than actually having made correct judgments. End quote. So you know how when you go to museums, there's some information around the painting. Usually it explains what the painting means or what the artist intended, or what the significance of the painting even is. And you read that and you're like, I don't see that at all. I don't know. I don't understand this painting. I don't understand how people can assume all of that information about this. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And then it makes you feel dumb almost. It makes you feel like you're missing something that everyone else can see. And I know that's why a lot of people are put off by museums, by art. It's very snobbish sometimes in the descriptions of what things mean. Like, I understand that aversion to it. But I love what this author is saying because I agree. The correct answers or the correct judgments aren't the goal. The whole goal when you're viewing art is more of what you think it is. So the painting is supposed to reveal more about you to yourself. Sure, the artist can have intentions of what it meant for them or what it's supposed to mean, But art really reveals you to yourself. It's a self-reflection activity. And also, in the end, I believe that the more you see and know of yourself and understand of yourself, the more you can understand the artist. So I don't think that there's any right or wrong way to view art, or that you have to arrive at the same conclusion that everyone else arrives at when viewing art. And I think that's something that people get hung up on, that you have to arrive at the same conclusion, but you really don't. So when you're next time you're viewing art, you're at a museum, you're allowed to have a different interpretation of art than what the museum information placard says. Like, for example, say you see this big blue painting and it makes you sad. Then you start wondering, well, why does this make me sad? What association does blue have with sadness for me? Maybe it goes back to something in your childhood. These little things reveal more about yourself. I'll read another portion of the article as well. The value of art appreciation lies in our engagement in the process of untangling the art for ourselves. And the kind of person who buries their nose in the guidebook and only hazards those opinions that have been vetted by experts makes the same mistake as the bad sport, who despairs that they lost that silly party game. They bring an achievement mindset into an activity that has been engineered to produce delightful striving. The guidebook obsessive is assuming that art appreciation is an achievement-oriented activity, that you win at art when you get all the right judgments. End quote. And I think that's so true. The guidebook isn't the only source of truth, and the person who only uses that is missing so much richness that comes from that self-exploration of wondering about paintings and meanings. Though I wouldn't dismiss the experts or guidebooks completely, they're a great place to start if you don't know where to start thinking about interpretation. But enough about the quotes, you should definitely read the article yourself, it's free to read. So this pen is the one I was waiting on, this is my new pen. So you're getting a small sneak peek of it here. It's the Mont Blanc Meisterstück 145 Classique from the Romeo and Juliet collection, and it's the Juliet version. I'll talk about it more in my fountain pen video, but I wanted to mention it here. And so here I am wrapping up the entry with my final sticker. I felt like this bottom corner was too bare, and also I felt like there were way too many squares on the page. I needed something, a more organic shape, to soften the whole page a little bit, and I think the orange color also helps draw the eye away from so many squares. So both the color and the shape of it add some balance to the page. I do like to balance my edges, hard and soft edges, and sharp corners with soft corners. So this is the final entry. I'm just adding my date stamp here, and thank you so much for watching this video as usual. Sorry it's a little late, but I'll be back on track with my weekly uploads.